On this episode of Whiskerman's podcast, Beards and Business, in the beard section, we talk about our oil and butter DD214, dive into the military career with this amazing scent. And while over in the business section, we do our first ever interview with Roger from Epic Sages. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Whiskerman's podcast, Beards and Business. This is the beard section. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to get a little bit more in depth on the products that Whiskerman carries and sells. So we're going to go over the oils and the butters together. We'll talk about our beard balms, our waxes, and then some of our swag, and we'll do that for the next several weeks. So each week we'll introduce a new product, give you kind of the scent profile, and then we'll, as always, have the business section at the end. One thing as you're watching this, if you enjoy these videos, please, massive help to us, please reach out. But hitting that subscribe button really helps us out. So today we're going to be talking about one of our newest and one of my favorites for several different reasons, the DD214. So the DD214 was put together to capture military career, specifically put what I thought was in there, that really took me back to my career. And then most of you that have worn the uniform or have friends, family members that were in uniform will really connect, and hopefully some of you will go back in time to those good moments of being in your time in the military. For those of you that don't know, DD214 is the holy grail for anyone who puts that uniform on. This is your discharge paperwork, basically saying you served and now you are entitled to different benefits and stuff. So it is a form called DD214, so appropriately named. So inside the DD214, the very first thing that you're going to smell, predominantly amazing, is that energy drink. Almost anyone who's been overseas, specifically Iraq, Afghanistan, during that time frame, can recall energy drinks. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing energy drinks. If you were doing missions and stuff, you had to partake in them just to keep you going. So energy drinks were a big part of the life of the military career. Who doesn't like guns? Can't put guns in there, so we put the smell of gunpowder, not real gunpowder, but that's scent. So you get that smell of when you're at the range firing the weapon, you get to smell some of that to put it in there. Another thing that if you were working overnights or almost any time in Universal is the smell of coffee. And then we have some Cuban tobacco, because I know one of my experiences, and we've talked several episodes of one of the places that I love to go every Wednesday is to the humidor shop, Beckles Humidor. And I actually picked up the habit while in the military. So the Cuban tobacco cigars in there. And then of course, most of you that have served or been around folks, you know that most military members are going to partake in the spirit. And we're not talking about the Holy Spirit, we're talking about alcohol. So we finish it off with a nice bourbon and whiskey. Lots of big smells stand alone on their own. When added together, it is a very nice, clean fragrance. Again, our oils, butters, you won't have the scent all day. It's not something that's going to follow you around, but it is something that's going to smell initially. They're amazing. Like if you're like me, sitting in a small office right now doing this recording, there could have a diffuser sitting here. You have it in an air freshener, and it just makes such a great smell. So we carry those in the oil, and again, the oil goes on, hydrates, promotes growth, and strengthens your current growth. And then we also have it in a matching butter. The butter goes on and will help soften and condition your beard. With the Whiskerman package, we also sell a sample set that you can get. You can get a sample butter and a sample oil. And one of the biggest things that I'm proud of, and I hope this will drive massive sales and drives us crazy, because we're just going to be producing
so many bottles and of it, and the butter is a portion of every sale we're setting aside. And next November, we will find, between my wife and my ambassador, we will find a military charity that we will write a check that will go to that military veteran affiliated charity. So it does not qualify for any of the discounts or anything. So when you see us at events, we will do great deals in person. We'll offer sales every once in a while on the website. This is one of those that will not be entitled to any sales because of that portion going to that charity at the in November for Veterans Day. So if you are a veteran, you want to support veterans, you just want to smell like a veteran, this is the best scent to do it. It's such a great scent. I encourage you to go over to whiskerman.com/shop. Go in there, you can type in DD214 at the top, and it'll come up and it'll show you the different options of the oil butter or the sample set. And remember, a portion of every sale is going to be held over and going to a veteran charity, which we will do a big giant show on. So that is the oil and butter for DD214. So look forward to showing you another one next week. So right now we're going to turn it over to which this was my very first recorded interview. And the reason that I'm putting that out before we transition into the business side of things is, one, I want you to see the growth. I didn't do them particularly in order of first interviewed, first on. So you'll see some of the tweaks and changes that have been made. Hopefully you'll see that this has improved. It's still an amazing interview. Gentleman from the blocks was great, great person to jump on right away and said, I'm in, booked it right away. And scheduling has had it to where it's coming out now. But great interview, but you can see how my interviews have improved. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our pre-recorded interview with Roger.
All right, so I've got Roger here. Roger, can you give us an introduction of who you are and what your name of your business is?
Sure. Hi, I'm Roger Peters, aka Rook. I am the owner of Epic Sages.
All right, so you said you go by Rook. How did you come about that name? Where did you get that from?
So I've been called Rook for a super long time. Just since I was a kid, picked it up randomly on a video game, and it's just kind of been my online moniker for forever.
Okay, so it sounds like video games is kind of gaming in general is pretty passionate. So I'm assuming that's what your company is. So tell us a little more about what your company is and what is it that you offer.
Gotcha. So Epic Sages is a TTRPG hosting site. And what that breaks down to is a tabletop role-playing game, right? So games like D&D, Pathfinder, Starfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, all those nerdy games where you're sitting down, rolling dice, having fun with your friends. We teach people how to play those games. We host the games and like do the hard part of telling the stories and so on and so forth for people's entertainment. We also work with businesses and other things like that to increase employee retention and retention. Oh, I could speak. And company loyalty on both for the employers and the employees.
All right, so I want to pull two things from what you just said.
Yeah.
So the tabletop games, I know that
Mhm.
being playing on the Xbox and the PlayStation is really booming over the last couple of years. But I think there's still there's a big massive community and you're kind of hitting it home. So my son just got one of those Star Wars. It's got Darth Vader on the cover, and it's not dice, but it's drawing cards and stuff. So is that something that you guys would teach me that I have no clue what I'm doing? I barely understand a thing. Is that like one of those types of things where you can bring a father or son in
Yes,
and
100%. I'm going to cut you off here because yeah, we love working with families. It's a super great way for bonding and getting together. Now that specific game that they got where they're drawing cards or whatnot, I don't know. I don't. That doesn't sound like something that we do. We focus more on the storytelling s side and less of the board game side of things. Obviously there are board game elements like you move little characters around the table and whatnot. So you can see them and do stuff with them. but it's less focused on those kind of roles and more of the story crafty stuff that you do together.
Okay. So obviously Dungeons and Dragons, almost everyone's familiar with it between, the game, the movie that just came out. Obviously it was featured in the Netflix series
Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things. So I mean, almost everyone understands and can relate with that. So you had mentioned something, and this was the second piece I want to draw out. How can a business use that? You said you come in and they can use it as employee retention. So go into a little bit more detail on that piece of what you do
Oh,
from the business side.
yeah. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. So, kind of underlying company mission stuff, besides having fun, right, is getting employers to re-understand how they deal with their employees, um, and giving them value and understanding as individuals through playing games and having fun with them is a huge way to increase employee retention. Um, we like to say, if you don't know your employee's last name, they're just a number to you, right? And whereas if you're playing a game with them and you know them as the elf archer or the dwarven barbarian that's running around causing havoc or something along those lines, you're going to remember them and want to take care of them, whether they realize it or not, right? There's a lot of subconscious building that goes into that. It builds that loyalty. We're going to take care of your employees more. They're going to take care of you, so on and so forth, right? It's also a way to show your employees a way that you care, right? That you want to get to know them better. You want to, interact with them on a deeper level. And how we do that depends on the business and what they have time for and how they want to do things and all that fun stuff. We, customize stuff to fit their schedules slash employees the best. So there's a lot that goes into the business side of things that is nitty gritty, figuring things out. But in essence, end of the day, the goals are when we work with businesses to increase retention and increase loyalty.
So companies that take you up on that, is this something that they try to do like after hours, or is this like a lunch break type thing? Or
So
sure, it
we
varies.
Yeah, it really does vary because we take what they do as a company into account. If you're doing a service company and you have to get called out every once in a while, it's not really feasible for you to have your employees be sitting around for 4 hours not taking calls and doing things. So maybe having an hour during work, for everyone to have, the equivalent of a pizza party, right? Instead of doing a pizza party, you're doing something way more fun with us, right? Or you do that several days a week where you get that, up to 4 hours for your would-be session, but it's split up. Um, or if you do it after work, if your employees are like, yeah, we'll do it after work, cool beans, they can do it after work and then it's not on company time. But generally, we suggest you do it during company time because then you're also giving your employees uh, showing that you care through using your time instead of theirs.
So what's kind of the origin story of how you came about? Obviously, you're passionate in for games, but how did this come about and you turn it into something that's actually a business model?
Gotcha. So me and my business partners, we had four originally. We're down to just the two of us, and it's been the two of us for quite some time. Got together and wanted to do something because all of us have been passionate and been doing these TTRPGs for 5 to 10 years, depending on who we're talking about at the time. Um, and we just decided that there was no market for it. There's no one that's going out and doing what we do. We're a very unique thing. There's one other business that kind of does what we do, but not really. It's one of those tangential things that same idea, different process. Um, but we just decided, we wanted to bring something that lots of people love and want to do to the public, where more people can interact and do things with it. I can't tell you how many people I've introduced to the system that have just fallen in love with it, heads over heels. It's their favorite thing ever now. Um, so that's kind of how it started. It was just like it's something that we all loved, and we're like, let's turn it into something that makes us money.
Yeah, absolutely. So we met in a community. We were both fortunate enough to be on the world's greatest entrepreneur reality TV show, The Blocks. So why don't you tell a little bit people about what season you're on, and then your journey there, and then also knowing that, tell us your story. I know that you're a veteran, so tell us a little bit about that backstory if you would.
No, sure. So blocks we were season 4. Me and Younger, my business partner, got there our first year in business. It was with still just doing services. We didn't have any items or anything like that. We weren't selling dice or any of the other fun things that we sell now. And it was just a huge learning experience for us. I mean, it was worth all the time and effort that we spent to go there and just pick up as much knowledge and connections and all that fun stuff. And at the end of the day, I think we did pretty good. If you watch season 4, we're in the intro of every episode because we're the ones that were like, we're so excited to be here. That's us. Uh, um, as for Army stuff, I don't get anything special for that one. I was an 89 Bravo and ammunition specialist. I did one rotation up here in Alaska. Got married, bought a house, stayed up here when I got out.
Oh, that's more than, you're downplaying anyone who wears a uniform as a hero in my eyes, as a fellow veteran. And I'm sure our everyone that's watching agrees. I always use the saying, if you can't get behind our veterans, then feel free to go and get in front of our military members. So, so the one question I do want to ask while you're on the blocks, did you get Wes to play any of the games that you were teaching?
No, unfortunately not. We did our games when we set them up during the mornings before everything got super crazy. So like while people were doing their pre-studying note stuff. So I think he came over and watched for like a minute at one point when we had quite a few people playing. But we got quite a few of the other members to play at least once or twice. So there was a lot of them that were in a lot of the people that were in our season got introduced to it from us in the mornings.
Awesome. So is there, what obviously your love for games is what drives you to continue to do this. So what is your passion behind this? Why this? Why not, being um, a mechanic or something else? Why did you choose this to be your business?
Well, because I like to consider myself the quintessential next generation of storyteller. So with these games and things, it allows me to orate really well, right? And teach people and run through experiences with so many other people and things that it was just a natural fit for me. Complements my love of talking uh with also storytelling and all that fun stuff. I've been a storyteller since I was a kid. And doing this just is a fantastic avenue for that side of my personality.
So you had mentioned while you were a little bit ago that you served up in Alaska and that's where you're currently residing. So obviously not everyone's going to be privileged enough to come up to Alaska to play Dungeons and Dragons with you. So how can our audience find you? How can they get involved in what you're doing and
Gotcha. So wonderful thing about Epic Sages is we're a nationwide company. Not only do we do stuff online to make stuff easy, so you can play with grandma, cousins, friends anywhere in the country as long as you can agree on a time and get on a computer. We also do stuff in person with our local contractors. We have a couple contractors sprinkled around the U.S. So if you happen to be in like Arkansas Arkansas, Arizona, Alaska, and Kansas are the 4 places that we have people currently. You might be able to get one of our in-person people. But for the most part, most people around the country are just going to find us online and we'll connect that way. And we make our stuff super easy technology wise, or as easy as possible for people to get in and understand and all that fun stuff. So if you're worried about grandma understanding how to get on and play, don't worry, we've dealt with it. We'll figure it out. Uh, But you can find us on our website directly. www.epicsages.com is the website. And then we have a Discord. We're on all the social medias, all that fun stuff. You can always send us an email through at sages@epicsages.com. And that's our catch-all. It'll get to us eventually. Or you can do Rook at Epic Sages and you can get me direct.
and then we'll drop all that here at the end of the video. We'll put all your social media stuff up so everyone can see that and
Wow.
copy and reach out. So in closing, is there anything else that you'd like to add or anything else you want to share with our users?
Remember to have fun, right? This is all about beard care and self-care. Having fun is part of that. So just remember that you want to have fun with what you're doing, how you look, all that fun things. If you can't have fun, what are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's well said, especially coming from a veteran standpoint of, you gotta have fun or life would get too much. One thing I want to point out to our users that are watching right now, um, talking pre-recording with Roger, we're going to do a live one-on-one, because obviously Roger fits perfectly in the beards and business. He has a beard, he's running a business. We're gonna get on a one-on-one sometime to where we can work between the time zones and stuff. And then we're just gonna BS. We're going to talk about beards. We're going to talk about, self-care. We'll go back and forth, and I think we'll set this up to where we'll educate you from things that when you're done watching it, you'll probably go, and then go back and watch the recording that we throw up. And then Roger, tell people a little bit about, in closing, a little bit about your podcast.
Oh, yeah. So we have a podcast we do every other week. We do it live and it's recorded and you can find it everywhere. It's on YouTube, all that fun stuff. But it's Epic Sages TTRPG Classrooms. It's all about the games we play. So D&D, Pathfinder, Starfinder, basically any tabletop role-playing game and how to make them better. We take entrepreneurs, other business people, other podcast people, and take their expertise and apply it to whatever topic that we are talking about that week.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Roger. I really appreciate you coming on, and wish you a bunch of luck. And I can't wait to get this live one-on-one podcast going. And then also Roger's asked me to come on his podcast. So we'll be doing a lot of joint stuff together and look forward to the future. So thank you guys for watching, and go check out Roger's stuff. And we'll put the links up here.
All right, guys. What an amazing first interview that I ever did. Thank you so much, Roger, for being the guinea pig and setting me up for success of where I am now and teaching us so much. There's power in games. They can bring us together and they can unite us. And then, the board games are just a different way to connect and interact. And then the applicability of, Roger being a fellow veteran is also amazing and fitting for today's show, being that we showcased our DD214. So guys, if you made it to this point, thank you so much for watching the entire show. Again, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That means the world to us if you do that. Continue to watch these videos. Once you hit that subscribe button, you'll get alerts knowing when the next video comes out. As always, massive shout out to our first responders, our military, and our veterans. If you can't get behind them, feel free to get in front of them. Until next time.